Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
prepared to get to the eye test because I'm gonna start with probably my worst take so far. I really like Asturi Ruiz. I really like him. I don't know why. He's annoying. He just gets on base. Actually, doesn't. You're gonna say he doesn't get on base, but he's a good little slap hitter that has extreme speed, a good glove in the outfield. I think he's got a lot of versatility in that sense. And on a horrible roster like the A's, uh, it's really he stands out. He stands out. If he's on a good roster, I think you wouldn't notice him as much. But I think he's just a better version of Tony Kemp, to be honest.
Um, sure. Cool. He's not good. Um,
Uh, Brad Hayden.
Tom,
All right, but
he's a below. Okay. The reason this conversation is happening, we're talking about the eye test, is because a couple times ago, Stabs was basically like, yes, but by the eye test, this guy is performing well, right? And the eye test has value. It's been used throughout baseball as old as time. Like it's how people are evaluated. And there is value in the eye test. Like there is complete value in it. But when you evaluate a player, right, you see these results. You look at the player, you see what he does on the field. You can look at a guy and he gets one hit every night. You can go 1 for 4, be like, yeah, that guy gets a hit every single night. And that's a true statement. That's a 250 batting average. And that sends into another conversation. Again, you and I, Tom, we're not batting average guys. Stebbs is,
yeah,
right? The story of batting average goes, it's a fine stat. It's okay. But the issue with batting average is it doesn't tell you things that other stats can do. Because if you looked at a stat sheet, 5 players hitting 250 are not having the exact same season, but that's what batting average would suggest. There could be guys hitting bombs, there could be guys hitting stolen bases, there's guys hitting doubles in the gap, or there's just a slap hitter that's just hitting his singles. It varies from person to person. And that's why I'm not a batting average person. I think that's why you're not a batting average person. And again, batting average is fine. It is okay, but batting average does not tell you some things that other stats that are better can tell you. And batting average fits the eye test, right? You see an outfielder make this fantastic catch in the outfield. Hunter Renfroe makes that behind the back grab, over the head grab early this season, but it was a horrible play
yeah,
because he took a horrible route to the ball. That's why we look at stats. That's why you watch the game, you're like, oh, this guy looks really good. But when you verify that online, you look at the stat pages, you go to Baseball Savant, you go to Fangraph, and nothing backs it up. You're like, oh, I need to re-examine this. Or, oh, it was just an okay catch given the circumstances. Or, oh, wait, this guy doesn't look like he's doing really well, but he's doing really good. It's just the result hasn't clicked yet. David Peralta is just like that for me. I'm calling for his head over the past couple of weeks for the Dodgers, right? And I look at his Baseball Savant and oh wow, he's actually playing pretty well. He's just getting unlucky. And that's where the eye test restricts you. It doesn't factor in luck.
I agree. I mean, I think Ruiz was probably the worst take. I think he definitely came out the gate hotter, and he's definitely cooled off pretty significantly within the last 2 weeks. Another eye test example would be Lane Thomas's defense, like we mentioned that one episode.
Yeah. That's
He
kind
did,
of what stemmed it for me. It was like you watch him, he makes this play, right? But all you see is him go to ball. You don't
yeah,
there's no numbers behind how he's getting there. If he went there the fastest he could, it's just he got to the point.
yeah. Who's your guy? Who do you want to talk about next? I got some more, but I
You
want
can go first because I need to pull my guy's page up.
so a guy that who has his peripherals have been getting increasingly better, but still not very good. Um, that I mentioned yesterday through text, Brad. It's Bryson Stott. Um, Currently, I mean, he's been a guy that's maintained his hotness so far this season. He's been a guy that's going on multi-hit games, usually a guaranteed hit per game for Bryson Stott. He's on pace for something like 215 hits this year. So I mean he looks good. He's looked like a good leadoff batter. Um, I just don't know. His expected stats do not reflect that well. The WOBA being the main one, but that WOBA is also measured in by walks as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Expected WOBA
Yeah.
as like a big weight of strikeouts and walks. And I'm looking at Bryson Stott, like he profiles as a solid leadoff hitter, but You look at his thing and you see, oh, he's 305 batting average. That's really good. And yeah, 305 batting average, like if I see that on a stat line, I'm like, oh, okay, that guy's hitting good. I'll think that. And I'm not a batting average guy. There's a certain line you draw. It's somewhere in like the upper 280s or low 290s. We're like, okay, good batting average. It probably means the guy's doing well. There's a certain line where that's drawn. But you see a 305 batting average, he's got a 741 OPS, right? He's not slugging the ball at all.
Yeah.
And he's hitting well. He's succeeding. He's providing above average hitting for the Philadelphia Phillies who needed it. Harper's back now. That's a whole other issue. I agree with you. The eye test is there, but he needs to, when you look at the pages, it's not entirely backed up.
Yeah. I guess my next part is, do you think he, not necessarily maintains a 305 batting average, but do you think he finishes with 170 hits?
So the thing with measuring hits, right, is you're basically asking me, do I think he will have enough plate appearances to be able to get to this, right? Because you can have a guy hit for a 350 batting average, right? But he only has 170 plate appearances, right? He's not going to be able to get to that amount of hits that he needs to get that 170 hits. If you're in an elite offense like Bo Bichette is going for the hit totals at the beginning of every season, he's led the American League the past 2 seasons. And if Bo Bichette is getting a ton of plate appearances every single season, then we'll be able to get 170 hits. I don't know if Bryson Stott is going to be able to get that many plate appearances.
Yeah. I mean, he's the leadoff for him, correct?
It varies, but sometimes.
That's fair. All right. Do you have your next guy?
I do. And yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. Goes out on the mound. He's dealing 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. It looks like another guy, another product of the Braves farm system. And his name is Bryce Elder.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, how is this guy succeeding? Because you're looking at him, he's got a 175 ERA. That's pretty good. And you look at the innings pitched, he's done 36 innings over 6 starts. That's 6 innings per start. That's pretty good. A 106 whip. That's pretty good. This is all basic stuff, eye test stuff, things that you could look at pretty easily and make assumptions about a player. But you go to his baseball savant, he's the 9th percentile for average exit velocity, 14th for hard hit percentage. He's in the 43rd percentile for expected ERA. So a 135 ERA versus a 438 expected ERA. He's got horrible stuff. Like Bryce Elder, I'm going to pull up Stuff Plus real quickly just for reference. But I don't know how this guy is succeeding. But if you looked at him just through an eye test perspective, he's really good. But literally nothing else supports that.
This is like the prime example of the eye test because, I watched the start yesterday. He looked great. I mean, he literally looks perfect. These percentiles are horrible.
He's got a 75 Stuff Plus. His average pitch is 25% worse than league average. He gets away because of his elite location.
Product of the Braves, man.
Like, if fastball velocity is ridiculously low, and I just eye test. Any final thoughts?
That's all.
Well, thank you all for listening. This has taken a lot of twists and turns. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy talking about playoff odds. I enjoy talking about breaking down any of that stuff. We went through a lot of rookie power rankings. We went through this little eye test conversation we had here. And then we kind of broke down this convoluted, crazy American League and just what it's going to be. If you've enjoyed, please consider leaving a rating or review, sharing this with a friend. We do appreciate it. I will be coming back over and talking about the power rankings at the end of our little power ranking segment. So if you hear me interjecting, hi, future Brad. Thank you all for listening to the 4A Baseball Podcast. If you want to interact with us at all social media links will be in the description below. We'll see you all next time on the 4A Baseball Podcast. Peace.